I carried my first gun from Huruma to the Buruburu. And when I was carrying those guns, sometimes I would be told, you have to leave your school bag and they'll know how you'll get it back, or you'll know how you'll get it back. I just pulled out my gun and I started helping the people from our group to in the shootout. Now we were overpowered and we had the police are there. There was a time that a bullet hit a wall and it hit me here. And when I was a gangster, I have a lot of scars here and also here. You can see I was beaten by mob justice severally.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Untold. Now picture this, you're a young man and a football star for that matter, and you're building a career out of this. But then at some point, life throws you into darkness that leaves you as an addict and a very wanted criminal in the country. Well, before I let our guest today tell us the details of his story, if you haven't yet subscribed to this platform, kindly do so and support us, because a good number of you lovely audience are enjoying our stories but haven't yet hit that subscription button. Kindly do so and support us. Also, I want to say thank you to the management of this land and this beautiful garden, Misco Gardens, located in Ruiru, for providing us with a space to shoot our stories from. My name is Njerimasi and this is Ken's story. Hi, how are you?
I'm very fine.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. The mood is okay. I'm happy. Yeah.
I'm also happy to have you finally seated here and to have this conversation with you. But I'm sure for someone who is meeting your face for the first time, they don't know who you are. So looking at that camera, you can introduce yourself so that they can know.
My name is Kennedy Mushono Waweru. And for those who know me from where I was born, many people know me as designer. The time I was in soccer. And the time I was in the streets, many people used to call me Kihara. So those are my names. But,
I'm curious to ask, why did people call you designer and why did people call you Kihara?
Okay, when I was playing football, there are times that I have to have these few styles that I used to design for myself. So whenever I used to do them, people would ask me, where did you get this design from? And I would literally say that this is a new one designed by me. So many people started calling me designer. But the name Kihara, when I was in the streets, because of my kipara. So, and also to hide identity. Most of the people in the streets, they don't call themselves by their names.
Okay.
Yeah, they nickname you because maybe you don't want many people to know your background. Because if they know my real name and I'm in the streets, so people may identify my family through my name. Yeah.
So it's a way of nikama a nickname or something.
Yeah.
Sawa. So when you're speaking, you're mentioning about football being in the streets, Now I want you to tell us, where did it all start? Did it start with football and then streets? Did it start with streets and then football?
Okay. My life, basically, my life started well. From the I come from a family of 8 sisters, and I'm the only brother, the only guy in the family. So many people my mother used to love me so much, and I used to get everything I wanted. And so as the time progressed, by the way, I was schooling in Drive-In Primary School, and high school I went to Karatina, and then from Karatina I came to a day school in Outer Ring High School. So my days in Karatina High School, I was this cheeky guy where everything that happens in the school I must be involved. And that kachikiness, you can imagine it was a mixed school, and when you take the boys take their tea, and when it is girls' time, I would put a chameleon. You can imagine, so that the girls don't have to take the tea. Those chiki things. And sometimes I'll go to the shamba, take the unripe bananas and put them in the box. And then they start to ripe when they are in the box, and you know the whole dome will start obvious that percent of ripe bananas. Yeah, I was that stubborn boy, and I used to monoloze people, and I was still a mono. But the thing that made me to monoloze people, and I was not, you know, the Form 4s that I got in the school, most of them came from Dandora and Kayole. So I was protected. So in that way, I came to Utaring High School, and I remember it was April 2008, after my mom passed away. And I think that was my darkest part of my life, because for somebody who is loved, somebody who gets whatever he wants, now the mother is gone. And I didn't tell my mom that I was given an expulsion from school, because of, I was not expelled because I did something wrong, but the principal could not tolerate this nonsense. You know, this it is like a center of comedy. It is a center of, now the principal said that this person is like, he's not fit to be here, to be in school, because everything I was not taking serious. Now when my mother passed away, I think everything went ways that I was not expecting, because most of my sisters, they were already married, and my sisters could not bear the burden. They could not take my burden and start. It's like the things that I was being given by my mom, and also there was no one who was willing to take care of me. Okay, my dad was there, but my dad was not that interested in taking care of us, because now he went and he started having an affair with other women, and also he forgot about us, me and my little sister. Now life changed. Now that time I was playing football. I started in Mother United. And after Mother United, I was called in Huruma Cranes. I played Huruma Cranes for some time, and also that's the time that I upgraded. But there in Huruma Cranes, that's the time I started missing out things that my mom used to buy for me. Sometimes my mother would buy, you know, when somebody's mother is alive, he would buy you if the football shoes. If there's somewhere would need a fare, she'll give me. And also my mother used to make me feel comfortable. Every cloth that is coming, if I wanted a jersey, she'll buy for me, so that I would like the same with other children. Now it came a time that those levels started falling, and people start saying that, hey, mama yako akiwa uhai, when your mother was alive, you used to live a good life. And I think that's the time that as we are playing soccer, I asked one of the guys that we were playing soccer with, I asked them, where do you get money? Because most of the people whom we were playing soccer with, they were well, but they didn't have parents. So I had to ask my friends, where do you normally get money? Now one of my friend, I cannot mention his name, told me that I normally carry mwiko. And would you carry mwiko? So as we were talking, I didn't understand well what is mwiko by that time. And that's the time I realized that carrying a mwiko is carrying a gun. And that time I was like, hey, I could do anything just to get money. So he introduced me, he oriented me well, and he connected me with few friends, or a few friends of his. Now that's the time I carried my first gun from Huruma to the Buruburu.
So these guns you're carrying to take them to someone or to use them?
To take to someone.
Okay.
Because when I was going to school I was in a day scholar now in Outering High School. Me, I used to dress school uniform well. I am not that person who used to wear madoido or what. If it is a trouser, I would wear it from down top, good belt. Yeah, I used to groom myself very well. So I took, it was a Seska pistol. I put it, I kept it in my bag. I took it to Buruburu. Let me tell you, I was given 3,000. It was a lot of money by that time.
The first assignment.
Yeah, I was given 3,000 and I bought those K-Swiss shoes, and football jersey, that jersey of Chelsea. And also I gave my elder sister 200 shillings, and I was like, I'm complete. I felt,
this is the life.
Yeah, I felt so good.
Yeah.
So as time progressed, and I took other one to Sarit Center, Westgate, those areas, those posh areas. And when I was carrying those guns, sometimes I would be told, you have to leave your school bag and they'll know how you'll get it back, or you'll know how you'll get it back. So that life was, I started growing. When you are into something, the more you do it, the more you grow into it.
You progress, and you're promoted now.
Now, my friend, another friend of mine, I normally mention his name because now he's a changed man, and I don't have a problem even in mentioning his name.
Yeah.
His name is Babu. Babu told me that, what do you normally do? Now you are living with your father, he doesn't come and you live with me. So when I went to stay with him, Babu was that mwizi wangeta, that person who used to mug people, petty thief. Now when we were with him, now he started telling me that we should go and think of how we can mug someone. And many people do say that the days of a thief are 40. And I think the first day we went to mug someone, that's the time we were caught the first time, and we were beaten. And the best thing is that why I was not beaten too much, it is just because people they noticed me, and they used to know that I'm a footballer. So they didn't beat me a lot. But instead of me feeling like I have to quit, I felt another energy that I have to do it again. Now this time they will know me. But the second time I went to mug someone, I think we mugged my uncle. And we found him with this Kafon Katululu. That Kanokia, that, I don't know if it is that it returned, the one that people used to greet each other like, yeah. And we decided we will not return it to him, because now if we return, he will know. Yeah. So we sold it. And as time progressed, I felt like, no, I won't be stealing with Babu. Because most of the time he goes, he's being beaten a lot. Then
you're not even getting things of value.
Things of value.
Yeah.
And there was a time that he was beaten by mob justice when her mother was being blow dried in our area. And when the mother went to look who was being beaten, he found out it was him. And then there was a time that he was taken back to Ruiru, and also there he was beaten a lot. But we thank God now Babu is in Canada. Now at that moment, I asked myself, what if when they give me this gun, by the time I transport it, I work with it, then I take it to those people that have been sent to.
Yeah.
So I started that way, and I used to call Babu sometimes, and we'll rob small to M-Pesa. And I graduated. Now there was a time that I had to take that gun to Kiamaiko, but I was taking the gun to our fellow thug. Now I was told, like, today, take this gun to Kiamaiko. like today. I was told yesterday, today is the day that I'm supposed to take it. But previous night, the guy was the one who told me, and the guy I was supposed to take the gun to was killed. They were both killed.
Okay.
They were killed in Umoja. They were shot in Umoja. Now when I went to take the gun, whom am I taking the gun to? Nobody. No, I kept quiet, and I owned
the gun.
Now I owned the gun. Now I started robbing here, but I was still, you are doing something which in your heart, it's like you don't want it. But because of the circumstances, now you feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And there was a time we went to the Westlands and we went to rob a woman. And when we went to rob that woman, I think that woman had a lot of money, because 800,000 by that time, it was a lot of money. So the guys and our informer was a lady. That girl used to know how to gather intelligence a lot. So when we robbed the lady, the guys thought of raping the daughter. You know those people who have those houses that they have the ground and the upper bedrooms. So they wanted to rape the lady. But the lady told me that even if they want to, you don't look like doing it. So please, even if they will, please don't. So I felt that, okay, I was not there. I was not willing to do that. But I felt like, how can we have all this money and at the same time these people want to
do more harm?
To do more harm.
Yeah.
Now I took out my gun and I told them that this will be worse, because I will shoot you. We will all die here. You shoot me first, but you are not going to rape the girl.
Yeah.
Now they decided not to. And when we were going downstairs, the lady, when you have done such a thing, you don't normally go alone. You take the family and they will take you to the door so that you escape. You take them as human shield. And then the lady told me, but we normally have the front door and we have the back door. Now when she told me, I hesitated. That feeling of
what if
but
you're setting me up?
By the time those guys went to, and I was carrying the money, when they went to move from the front door, I don't know if it is the alarm that they have switched on. I don't know what happened. I had the gunshots. Something told me, Ken, run for your life. I jumped the back door and I was able to escape. And I escaped. But all of those guys were shot dead, and they died. And me, from that time, the second time, I was in Sarit Center, where I went to rob a woman's. She was an Asian. I went to rob her a golden chain, and I do ask myself even today, why do people steal those golden chains? And sometimes when you go to sell them on a black market, they buy like
at a throwaway price.
Yeah. Now that woman grabbed me and people were coming and she refused with me, and I was having a gun. Now I shot her on the leg. But also even that thing, that was the first time I fired a gunshot. And I felt so bad because you know, when you are human and you pour somebody's blood and you feel that person groaning in pain, and maybe this thing that you are into, you didn't want. There's that feeling of I didn't do something good.
Yeah.
And I stayed for almost a month. Those things used to trigger. There are times that I would hear the voice of the woman, the way she was screaming in pain, and I would see myself carrying the gun, and that greediness that I had at that moment, I used to feel so bad. But you know, all in all, You just go drink alcohol. And let me tell you, that time still I was in high school. I was still in high school. And that thing really disturbed me. And the chain that we went to sell, it was for 8,000 shillings. But I don't know why do people steal those things.
Let me ask you a question. So at this point where you go to rob from this woman who lives in Westlands, you take like 800 G's with you. What do you do with the money as a student at then?
There is nothing that you do with them. You know, in our area, Mathare North, we came to know about girls when we were very young. And we started drinking when we were very young. And we used to go to those clubs, Finas, Monte Carlo, and we will use money. Yani, use money. Yani, for example, when you board a taxi for the whole day, you can imagine how much is it?
Yeah.
Maybe for
Must
a week.
Be expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it reached a time that now I've grown in this business, and I've robbed people. But most of our friends were killed. That, like, there were others who were killed in we hijacked a Maranatha bus from Githurai. We took it to Karura. And when we you know, those guys that we had that day, they were not experienced. So when the gunshots, but we had already robbed people. When they had gunshots, you know, there are times that you get confused when you hear gunshot. Instead of running to a safer place, you run where the police were, and they were killed, all of them. And that thing, until today, there are times I do just remember, and I feel like, you know, and you just go give the family small token, and the family is a part of the money, and everything goes well. And you still go to Monte Carlo, such things. But it reached a time where I started hitting rock bottom. You know, you don't feel like doing this thing anymore.
Yeah.
But now you don't have anything to do. Now you feel like, and still you are. Now, there was this time that we were in Monte Carlo with this lady. And we drank, and the money that we were having was over. And we felt like we would go and rob somebody, and we come back, we begin drinking.
Yeah.
Now that night, but before that, when I was doing my Form 4, we were to go for a robbery, a SACCO, a small cooperative here in Kangundo. And I remember I was to be part of that group. But I was having the last paper of biology. Those who did 2010, they know that the last paper, I think, was biology. And I was like, that time we were being told, if you miss one paper, then all the papers,
it's invalid.
Yeah, now, you know, now I was like, niende. But you know me, I used to value education, because my mom used to tell me, no matter whatever you do on this planet,
For sure.
whatever will help you is education.
For sure.
Now there are those voices that used to trigger me and say, now if I don't get this paper, now how will my life be? I'll not be able to go to college.
Even as a thug, you're thinking like that?
Yeah, I was thinking like that.
Wow.
And most of the people, now I used to feel compassion, because I used to see Babu is not educated. And she, you know, Babu used to lie to her mother. There was a time we made report book for him that he got an A. Now the mother said, even if it is a miracle, this is impossible.
It cannot be. I know my son.
Yeah, now Babu dropped out of school. I saw others, they came from good families, but they didn't value education. And those who came from good families, there was a lot of money. And when they were in the group, they were stealing. I don't know why. I cannot even today, I cannot explain why they used to steal and they used to have money in their families. Until today, I cannot explain.
Okay.
So,
So this day they have gone without you because you have exams.
now, yeah, but I felt like I could have gone. But in that group, there was my friend, another friend of mine by the name Rhino, Raich. That friend was a good friend. You know, when we you know that cow youth, that when you go to look for ladies, you go with him. When you want to have a girlfriend, you'll ask that guy, is this girl, hey, ude makoaje, like that. And there are times that even if we were broke, I'll go to their home and I will eat. I will have everything that I want. And if they don't have anything, he will come to me and I'll look for a way. And through our friendship, there was always a way. So they went. Let me tell you, all of them, they were killed. The Kamot, Georges, Dennis, Ouspaka, Rhino, and others I've forgotten. There were 7, and it was even in the newspaper, our Nation Daily. They all died, and the youngest was Dennis, and he was 16 years old.
Wow.
Now that thing triggered me. I didn't care about those people who died. I didn't care about others, although I knew them. But Rhino, his death even today, it was very, and we were in the same team. Sofapaka under 23, and also in Huruma Cranes. Now I was triggered. I was like, how? Now it reached a time that even if I'm in a matatu and you look at me, I'll just drop out of that matatu because I don't know why you are looking at me. And there are times that if you ask me, have I ever seen you somewhere?
So you assume
now
I might have robbed you.
Yeah, or maybe you are part of people who maybe you are searching me or something. I didn't have peace. You know, even if you are sleeping, you have to have somebody, even a lady, so that when somebody knocks, she will be the one who will open. So there were times that we were in companionships that we didn't want to, but because you don't want to be alone, so you have to be in that relationship. And that time, the time that we were drinking and we felt like now we go and rob somebody and we come back, we begin drinking. That time there was a fight between those gangs, Huruma gangs and Kibera gangs, like that. Now they were shooting, and then that morning, Central Police Station, the police officers were many. Now, when I just pulled out my gun and I started helping the people from our group to in the shootout. Now we were overpowered and we had the police are there. Now where I went to rent, you know, there is the upper fire station. There is there is a corridor behind there. So when we ran there with the girl, now we knew this area is not okay because we have had the police are in front and the others who are behind us, and we were running. Now we behaved like we were in a romantic mode. Now we are drunk. And then that officer came and told me, now, whoever you call your name designer, I've been looking for you for a very long time. Now it is over. Put that gun down. And you know, I had fired the gun. Now it was on my waist. Now I was sweating. And that's the time I realized when you have a woman sometimes in life, and when you are in danger, I think that's the time you realize in this world you are alone. Because, because the girl told me, because she told me now it is over, because me, I was not part of you, and she left me.
But she wasn't.
But she was my partner in crime.
Yeah.
Now she stood aside, and the police officer told me to move forward, to put the gun down, to move forward. And we normally know when a police officer tells you that you put the gun down and you go forward. Now you know that you will be shot on the back. But that police officer told me that, and I felt, before I removed the gun, I felt like before he shoots me, I can remove the gun and shoot. But when I had his gun, I had this gun is cocked. So by the time I remove mine, he will shoot me. So I put the gun down and he told me it is over. And this, I should remember this until the day I'll die. That what has happened what happened that night. He spared me. He took the gun. Now, what triggers me is that when a police caught you with a gun, first he'll book you or he will shoot you. He never booked me. He never arrested me. He never shot me. Now he told me that, remember this, the day that you'll die. Now the next day he told me to meet him in the morning. To meet him in the morning. Now that morning, which morning? And it was 3. It was that day. So I had to stay until I meet him in Central Police Station. And we went with him to the city mortuary. He told me, you know, the city mortuary, there are those people who are normally kept on the floor.
Yeah.
And he told me, look at all these bodies. They were enjoying like you that night. And they are normal. Look at this carcass. He called them carcasses. Look at these carcasses. They are normal. What are you deciding with your life? Because then this night, what has happened this night, the next time it will not be like this. It will be messy and bloody. Anyway. And when I look at those bodies, the way the brains were, let me tell you, from that day, I said, me myself came and guns. It is over. And that was my turning point. Now it is my turning point, but what will I do? And that's the time I decided to go to my cousin's home. My cousin is a priest in somewhere called Mareira in Kegumo. And when I went there, I didn't tell him that I was a thief. I didn't tell him whatever happened. I just told him that I want to stay here because now I've not been seeing my dad, and okay, life has not been good on my side. So he told me that you can stay. The problem that was there is when you live with your cousins. Now you know they used to mistreat me a lot. They will sometimes you'll hear them saying that somebody to stay with me in the kitchen so that I don't eat the nyama, the meat, because I used to cook for them. Okay. And that thing used to hurt me a lot because there was a time I used to remember of how my mom used to the way we were brought up. So I didn't have that much hunger for meat because I've been brought up well. So and I thought that my cousin would take me to college by that time, but he never. So I stayed there for 1 year and 2 months, and they decided to tell me, now you leave, my auntie is going to US. So I was never given anything. Yani ile tu, yani you just go. I felt rejected. I felt I was down. You know, there is somehow you can tell somebody to go and maybe you just give him money to open like a small business so that he doesn't suffer. Or you just take somebody, you rent him a house so that person doesn't suffer. Now where am I going? I went to my auntie's home in Karioa. Now there I suffered through hunger. I suffered. But there was this thought that used to come in my mind that used to tell me, what if you mug people here? Hey, you could have a lot of money. But something used to tell me that, do you remember whatever you were told by the police officer? That police officer by the name was Afande Koril. and he remained as my friend for some time, but I don't know how I lost the contacts. Now I found another friend, and he told me, "Why are you living here in Shags? I have my cousin in Thika, who is the owner of Bonju petrol station. Why don't you go there and tell him that you want a job, and you tell him it's his brother who has sent you?" So when I came from Karioa, I went there. I met the guy. That guy was a vibe. And I went there and I told him I need a job. Everything has not been okay on my side. And he told me, "I'll employ you in this car wash." Now the guy gave me 1,000 shillings. No, he did, before he gave me 1,000 shillings, he kept me. They gave me the tea, that teapot, and also those buns. I was hungry. I felt good. You know, I don't know if there's this feeling whereby you are hungry, and this person gives you something to eat, and when you eat that thing, yani it is not by it is not in measures. It is in full. Now you can imagine the buns, the teapot, and those are millionaires. The kind of tea that I was drinking, you know. I felt like, hey, the problem now, when I was about to go, they gave me 1,000 shillings. Why? Now they broke me. Now I went to another hotel in Thika called Msafiri. I still ate. I know I was in, when you don't have money, the desires that you have in your heart.
And the hunger is 10 times more.
Yeah. Now I didn't have a place to sleep. So I slept. I went and I returned back in the evening. I slept there, and I started the work there for car wash. I washed a lot of vehicles. I washed a lot of vehicles, and the job was okay. And I took myself to a college, and my wish was always doing a mortuary science. And I started schooling. And although I didn't do my final things, so that
the exams,
I didn't. I didn't. But it was awesome. I paid for myself, and I found out that I've done something in my life that I normally wanted, because I normally wanted to do something that many people have been asking questions, and I wanted to do it so that the questions that I have, I don't have to ask somebody. I want to clear those doubts, me myself, in my heart. So that's why I decided to do mortuary science. Anyway, things went on, and the job was over there in Bonju. And I went to security services, Gulf security services. Then I was employed in a Jogoki Makia, one of the most richest families here in Kiambu. And when I was there, the employer, was a vibe. He was a good guy. Saimo, I've never, even today, I've never got an employer like that one. But that time I was still drinking, and I was still chewing mogoka. He told me that stop chewing mogoka or drinking, because there's a time that your trouser will be torn, or your clothes will be torn, and you won't know. When the unmanageability will hit you, you will not be able to know. So quit these things. And he told me, "Do you see, I own a club. I sell a lot of alcohol. But have you ever seen me in a situation that you are in?" So I felt like
challenged.
But I felt like, you just say whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, he was my friend. And he, but I was working as a security guard in their home. And that, because of the friendship, he took me, and he took me to the club, and he made me one of the waiters. And then after being a waiter, he made me a supervisor. So we stayed with Simon, but there was a time he found me very drunk. And the next day he told Steve, the manager, "How much do we owe Ken? Can we let Ken go? Because now I cannot tolerate this." And I went. Now by that time I had a wife, and he was from Kendu to slums, and in Kentutu slums, when you hear that, when you have okay, not all, but in Kentutu, when you have a lady from Kentutu, that's the time that it is like, I don't know. I don't know. Now the woman used to eat mogoka, drink, and he used to chill with those guys or rasta and so forth. And there are times that I used to come and take her out of those places. I would be beaten by men there.
Oh, wow.
Because yani, you can imagine that life of Kathag life. But I was a gangster, but I didn't have that Kathagish life, that of that kind of character whereby is like kaurasta flani, you know. Now the lady was like so much, she was how can I put it, thuggish, you know, thuggish. Now she told me that the time I was given money and I was sent home, I came, she told me, why are you home early? I told her, have they paid you money? I told her, yes. Give me, she told me, she give me the money so that I can still plan my things. I gave her a lot of money. I took like 5K and I went to drink with my buddies. Let me tell you, I slept, I went to Dunda, I slept. The following day when I came, when I went to my house, when I went to touch that thing,
The lock.
yeah, I felt that kaeko. I felt like when I entered, I found my clothes on one corner of the house.
Everything else gone.
That's when I realized it is between me and myself. Now I had to start all over. Where are you starting? The money, the 5K, it's over. The other money, she has gone with it. And then you cannot go to their home. Yani, and you know, that time I blame myself because I also married when I was young. When I was a gangster, I used to have a lot of girlfriends. And now with this lady, I married when I was still young. So I didn't even know how to cope with the pressures of that marriage.
Yeah.
And you can imagine sometimes I used to hang out with ladies and I would come and tell her, nimetoka kwa kina Karo. Who says such things to somebody you are married?
Unless you want to hurt them.
Yeah. So I never thought of that. Now she's gone. I started a love again, and I thought like being a conductor, makanga, and I used to drink heavily. I engage myself in drinking alcohol, and then chavis, smoking, eating mugoka. That time I became now the person that whom I was never been. You know, there was a time that I was a gangster, but I was well. But this time now I'm
An addict.
Yeah, I'm drinking too much and I don't want to hear anything from anyone, even my family members, because my family members, I had anger and resentments towards them, because now you don't want to help us because you're married to rich people and you don't want those guys, your husband, to know that your brother has a problem with addiction. Now you are hiding your brother from your, so I had that resentment. Now I started being a makanga, but they refused because now I was drinking too much. And I started carrying mizigo, those luggages, those carriers of luggages in stages. And that's then the time that I started, when I carry luggages, I steal. When you give me a luggage, I carry, maybe there's a high possibility of me running away with it. So as time, there was a time I was beaten by mob justice, but there when I was a gangster, there was a time that a bullet hit a wall and it hit me here. And when I was a gangster, I have a lot of scars here and also here. You can see I was beaten by mob justice severally, and I escaped death. And there was a time I was hit by a motorcycle when I was in addiction. And I was taken to Thika, level 5 in ICU. And then I recovered from ICU. I was taken to the ward. Now I found this lady who was in Kenya Medical Training College. She used to do for me therapies. She used, and she told me that when I was there, if I recover, I'll marry her. So I used to work so hard so that
You can marry her.
yeah, I can marry her. And she used to tell me, no, when I look at you, she used to katia me, and I felt like I will work, whatever will tell me, I'll work hard. And she used to tell me, even those people who are here, who are not eating, even if they die, make sure you have taken their food. You ask their relative to give them the food because they have died. Where are they taking the food? Now I used to eat. And then I realized the more you eat, even if you are in a critical condition, the body gains a lot of energy. Now it was a time to be discharged, and she told me, who is going to pay for you? I told her I don't have anyone. And she planned of how I will escape. Her name is Berila Ching. And she planned my escape. And I told her, she will give me your number so that when I go, I'll call you. She told me, I'll just find you there in the streets. I know. Now, that's me and Beryl. That was the end of us. And I felt so bad. And she really helped me. When I went back to the street, I had nowhere to go. I began my normal routine. I went back to addiction. I went back to drug addiction. And that's how I found myself in the streets. Now I was a chokora. I used to, when you are being eaten by lice, yani, and when you are eaten by those lice, you when we are in the streets, your body is the wardrobe of all the clothes that you wear. Even if you give me a new clothes today, I'll take it and wear on top of the others. So when the lice eat the ones that are in, I remove them. I take this one, I put it inside. And we used to boil our clothes. We cannot wash them, and because the lice won't go away, so we used to boil. We look for a container and we boil those clothes so that those lice can die. So there are times that I used to eat most of the time we used to eat in the garbage. And I also thank those people who used to throw food and they tie the food well and they put them aside. So when we go there and we will find the food that is there, we will know that this food is okay. And there are those people who would wait for us before they throw away the food. They will come and tell us, can we give you this food is okay, cooked them yesterday, you just eat. And we used to bathe with ladies, in the Chania River. I would remove my clothes. The lady is there, removed her clothes. And that's where I realized most of the people in the street, especially ladies, are educated and they have self-discipline. And most of the street people are very disciplined. Many people find those people who are in the streets, the ones that are arrogant.
Yeah, they're very unruly. They're living like animals.
Yeah. But let me tell you then, when we used to go and take a bath, you are a lady, you are there, I'll borrow you soap, we wash, and I would not ask you anything. And me, that's the thing, that was my first encounter with
ladies from the
streets and men in the streets. I was like, how do people stay? I felt so comfortable. And they will tell me, if you take advantage of her, now you'll find the wrath of other street men.
Wow.
They will kill you. Why would you rape a street girl? And you can imagine the problem that she has, the problem that made her come to the streets.
Already she's going through a lot.
Yeah, and there's no sodomy. The way people sodomize people, they sodomize people, those people who are in posh homes, they are well. But in the streets, have you ever heard of somebody who is a fellow street man being sodomized? You'll never. That's I adapted to the life in the streets, but life was tough. There are times the police officers will come, they are drunk at night, they beat you up.
For nothing.
And sometimes you'll ask God, now, God, this is enough. This is enough. And that's the time I had this desire of, I would like to change my life, but it was not possible. You know, when you drop your levels, for you to recover, it is very hard. It's very difficult. Now I was still in the streets, and there was a time I was sleeping somewhere, and then people stole that clamp. They normally close the clamp of when you have not paid the parking fee. I was arrested, and they said that they said handling government property, and then I was jailed. That I was taken to court, and then I was drunk. I told the magistrate that I told the magistrate I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and maybe she should jail me because of being drunk, but not because of stealing. Now I was jailed in Maranjao prison, and that's where I saw a lot of things in prison. When you have not gone to prison, there are things that you hear from people, but you yourself, you not like to see them. For example, seeing a man sleeping by a fellow man, that thing is bizarre. Seeing a man, and that place is, you are not hiding. It's a ward. So you
can see everything.
Yeah. But most of the people who do that, it is just because they are not they are not satisfied with whatever they are being offered by the prison. So you want food that is mkarango, you want cigarettes, and then those people who have them will take advantage of you. You will become somebody's wife. And then I realized that when I encounter gayism for the first time, it becomes addictive. For you to get out of that problem, it's not easy. So I had a lot of friends there. Akina Afande Kome, akina Afande Mutwiri, akina Major Ojal, Koplo Ojal. And I used to give them stories, and we used to love each other so much. And by the time I was out, and even they gave me shoes and clothes. So when I came out, where I was, I didn't have somewhere to go.
To
the streets again. And then it was hectic. There was a time I slept on a cemetery in Kiandutu. Me and my friend Kennedy Katiwa. And when I woke up in the morning, I found out that it was not in morning, around 3. I saw sunrise, sunset, and I told Katiwa to wake up, we have risen again. And I started asking people in the morning, did you see me yesterday? I thought that I've risen again. Because I have died and I've risen again. And life in the streets, it was bitter. And in this addiction, now I'm addicted, and everything I'm doing, it is to manipulate people, so that I am manipulating people so that I can feed my addiction. There are times that I would lie to people. I'll call people and lie to them that I'm in this situation so that they can send me money. And when they send me money, I do drugs. There was times that I even all the numbers that I was having, all of those numbers, I don't know what I could have done, because I have already lied to them. Now I have nobody to lie. I cannot call them again. And also I had those excuses, even when the people told me to quit alcohol or to quit whatever I was doing. I had all this. I used to put blames on people. Most of the time I'll say it is my sisters. Sometimes I'll say
they neglected me.
Yeah, sometimes I put blames on things. And I realized that now I wanted change. And the more I'm looking for this change, I'm not able to get this change. The time I wanted divine intervention, when I wanted to go to church, that's the time the church won't give us priority to go, because whenever they see us with a sack,
And the dirty
they will feel like you want to go maybe to steal there or to do bad things. So you'll go to a fence where the praise and worship is being sung, and you just stay there, and you just praise and worship when you are outside. And there was a church that I went, it is very big, and I was beaten thoroughly by the security. Yeah, and they almost killed me, and they were from the church. Now I had no this interest of church. I loved God, but
not the church.
not the church, because I felt everybody is like, or sometimes they will lie. They will come and take you there in the church. They do a mchango. They fundraise with you. We are going to help this person, but they give you a t-shirt and a trouser, and then tomorrow you just go where you know. So those things used to hurt me a lot. And I came to find out my friend. I came to find out my friend who was Lamech. I didn't have somewhere to sleep. And one day he used to call me, and we sing those Ron Kenoly. Is it Ron Kenoly? Those ones, I've got my mind made up and I won't turn back. And there are times that he would tell us, we will sing that song of be unto me according to your word, according to your promises. You know, you are at least you are educated or something, you know. But you feel that you are singing with somebody who is not of your caliber, and he's telling you that God loves you. You feel that part of this guy is a good guy. And by the time you would see he will sing that song by Don Moen, and God will make a way where it seems to be no way, and you have hit your rock bottom, and you feel this pain is too much. You feel that addiction is a burden to you, and you are depressed. Now that person who comes and gives you that time, you talk. And there's one day he called me and he told me to go and take a shower, and he gave me a trouser and a shirt, and he took me to Pork City. And when he took me to Pork City, he bought me a half kg of pork and as a passion soda. And because of that being gluttony, when he told me, no, it's all yours. When I ate for the first time and I saw the setup that is in that, the setup that is that, yeah, I felt like, no, I need to change. Now I want to be a person in my life. I want to be somebody now. This is too much for me. And I started asking myself, now, Ken, look at you. The police didn't kill you. You've been into ICU. You know, you need to change. There are times that I used to cry so much. It is now just because I've become a counselor. Now I don't cry, but I used to cry. Maybe there are times that we could not have had this
conversation.
Yeah, we used to cry a lot, because I that heaviness used to come in my heart, and ask myself a lot of questions. How did that police didn't kill me? Why did he spare me? You know, and I realized that God had a lot of plans for me, and good things for my life. Now, it came a time that the Lamech put my story on Facebook, and my sister saw it. And now, because of guiltiness, she decided to take me to a rehabilitation. But the way they use that rehabilitation is they didn't tell me right away I'm going to a rehabilitation. They just told me that I'm going for a job in Mombasa. Now my sister came in the morning while I was in Kiandutu drinking changa. She told me that now, how are you, bro? Yeah, just have a cup of changa. She bought me a cup of 70. I felt this love is too much. Hey, she's buying for me alcohol. And she went, would you like to have a takeaway? Yeah, I would like to. She bought me a takeaway, and by that time we passed through Kiandutu Cemetery, and when I passed the time, I realized how many people have died in addiction. My friends, and I had these bad moments where I would count. Half of my friends died in crime, and half of my friends have died in addiction, drugs and substance abuse. And most of them, they died because of that time. Now, it is now that I'm seeing they died because of denial. But also, that time I realized that I was in denial. Now, my sister booked me a vehicle. They pictured the vehicle. They took me to Mombasa. But I lied to them to just wait for a minute there. I'll be back. I bought Kimzinga, and I drank because the one that she bought in Kiandutu takeaway, I didn't take it, and when I slept in a house, I could not have taken it because in somebody's house,
just respect, out of respect.
Yeah. Now I was in Mombasa. I found somebody by the name Witi there. He told me, you are Ken from Nairobi. She took me we took a tuk-tuk from Likoni, the rehabilitation center. By the time I was in that office, when I went to the compound, there was another guy who greeted me and told me, welcome to the family. I was like, family?
I'm here to work.
And then I was taken to office. Now, when I was in the office, I saw a certain prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's the time I realized that, Ken, you are in a rehab. And I saw the settings and whatever is written. Now, by the time they wanted to admit me, I told them, now, you are coming with your own precautions, but me, I have mine. So I told them, I want to drink my changa. Would you let me? They took me outside the gate. I drank all the changa and they injected me. And I slept for 4 days. And when I woke up sober. And the first thing I asked was Katiabe chai, because tea, because in addiction, we normally don't take hot things. And when I found out I became sober, I told God, I think this is what I wanted.
Finally.
Yeah, and when my sister was taking me, she took me to a bathroom in town. This thing that made me to be sad. When I went to take a bath, when I went to remove my underpant, I found out that I was wearing a miniskirt.
Inside?
Yeah, because it was already, the boxer is torn.
It is torn into a skirt
and
now.
that was my lowest. I was in my, how a man that this unmanageability of this level.
Sad.
Yeah. And when I pulled it, it came on top to my stomach, and I felt like, now, Ken, it's time. But how? You see?
Okay. So maybe because of interest of time, for how long were you in this rehab? And when you came out, where did you go to?
Okay, I stayed for 3 months, and I stayed for 1 year. I volunteered for 1 year because I didn't want to go home. I told them I'm not going home. I volunteered there. I came to, I started being a recovery coach. And when I came out, I started my small business. And that's when I realized that God had a ministry in me. And my ministry is for the people who are in the streets. From then, I started that ministry and going for intervention in the streets. And we set up, I called a few people and we set up a rescue center. and I started working with Eden House Rehabilitation Center. Yeah.
It is in
Eden House is in Kabete,
okay.
one in Kiambu, one in Likoni where I was, and I started working with them, and we set up a rescue center in Thika. And we started this ministry. We started being supported by those people of goodwill, those people who know the life in the streets. And that's why even in my TikTok, most of the time, I don't post the rescue center.
Yeah.
It is total anonymous. And those people who know the pain of being in the streets are the ones who fund there. But also there are those people who fund that rescue center. And those people who normally hear my story. And those people who used to know me. Like those people who saw the picture that I sent you, the one that I'm carrying a sack, they are the ones who send me for the street, to the streets. I do one plate for an addict. Of late, I've not been
it's
doing
an initiative, one plate for an addict.
Where I come, I don't buy them food, because normally if I do it continuous, it's like I'm encouraging them to stay there. So I come, I do a one-on-one session. That day we give them food. I come with volunteer psychologists, and then we come, we do sessions. And when we do sessions, they tell us their story. Those people who will integrate them to their parents, or the ones that we see that in that rescue center, we can keep them for a few days and they can restart restart again. Now that's what
you're doing.
That's what we are doing. And also to emphasize and tell people what is addiction, because many people outside there, they have not been able to know where they belong. I do tell them that there are stages of addiction and there are stages of using. There is that stage that we call experimenting, and there is that stage we call social drinking, and that's the social use, and there is problematic, and there is confirmed addict. So the ones that are there experimenting, they are the ones that they normally experiment. They are not into it. And after you have come out of experimenting, you fall in another category. We say social drinking, where you use socially. But those people who use socially think that they cannot get out of that space. They have that comfort of saying, me, I'm a social user, not knowing that addiction creeps in slowly. And by the time you come out of social drinking, you find yourself in problematic use, whereby you have issues with your employer, you have with your family. And that's where you start breaking the bridges of those people who used to love you. And that's the time that you start being an antisocial person. And whenever people mention your drug of choice, you start being irritated, and you don't want that alcohol. You are very overprotective of alcohol. You are very overprotective of cannabis sativa, because you want to be there. And you see it's like you don't have a problem with it. And the more you live in that problematic use, that is when you fall in confirmed addict. And also you have seen those people who are in media personality, and those people who have been in various corporates. How do they fall? And they are those people who are very educated. How do they find themselves in confirmed addict? And they have to be helped, because they cannot pull themselves out of that addiction. So I normally take the message to them. I normally emphasize and tell them that wherever you are, you may fall to that kagapa hapo chini. So you should be aware. And I normally tell people there is no responsible drinking. Drink responsibly. It's a lie. When you drink, you not be responsible. And I normally tell them that one is never enough and a million is too many. When you drink one, you'll feel like drinking and drinking. You realize that you messed up when you are already to a million. And I normally tell them, for you to heal, you have to be willing. And willingness is the key. More will be revealed, and you'll be amazed in your life because of whatever things will happen in your life. So I normally take this message to people. I do interventions, and it is just lately I've not been active due to few things in there. But I'm good. Maybe in 1 week's time, I'll be able to stand on my feet again. So I've made vows. I don't do it as a professional. Now I'm a recovery coach or addiction counselor. I don't do it normally as a professional. I do it because it is a ministry, because I go beyond boundaries. If it is a professional, we could have set up on this setup.
Yeah.
If it is 2 hours, it is 2 hours.
Yeah.
But me, I go an extra mile. And if people come to my to our rehabilitation, I do follow up. So there are those people who don't want that initiative of following you up.
It's quite a burden.
Yeah, it's a burden. But to me, if you call me at night, if you call me in the morning, if you call me, as long as my phone is on, I can pick it.
Oh, wow, beautiful. I know, Ken, for someone, it's been quite a long story, and someone who have followed through have seen how much you have transitioned and how God has spared your life. Maybe for such a time, for you to go back and help other people who are in the situations that you used to be in. But in all this story, you only mentioned your sisters where your mom died and they did not take you in. So when you're struggling, when you're suffering, when you're missing bullets, when you're being beaten by mob justice, they're elsewhere living their lives. So when you finally met them, were you able to forgive them? Were you able to understand them? Have you reconciled? How is your relationship with the family?
Okay. First, first I had this anger and resentment towards them. But when you grow in psychology, and in order for you to move on with life, also I had things that I had to admit me myself, to rectify, and also ask for forgiveness to them. And as much I didn't have to focus on the things that they did to me, because siblings are siblings, and we are there to help each other no matter what. Yes, I was bad. They had to be there for me. But what I had to do is just to move on. They no matter what they did, no matter how, even after recovery, they still did bad things to me. And I can give, for example, I've recovered. I have a very, very big land, and I decided to plow and plant yellow beans, and it was worth a lot of money. And the time of harvesting, you hear they have harvested more
Without
than
your consent.
without my consent and the money. So we don't live by people because of grudges. They are my sisters. I forgive them, and I don't expect them to do good things to me. Obvious, they have a lot of money than me, and also there is one in Germany. But I'm not expecting so much from them, and I should not expect good things every day. I'm expecting even tomorrow they might hurt me. So me, I leave them. What I do is, forgiveness is not reconciliation.
Oh, wow.
Because you forgive them and you keep your space,
distance.
because they might hurt you more. Because let me tell you, the person who can hurt you more is your relative. So I kept the boundaries, and we are good. They can call me, I can pick. But there are those things that I don't do that they might trigger my relapse, because they may speak a word that may trigger me, and I may feel bad. So there are things that I could put them into serious considerations, but there are those things that I don't engage with them too much.
Okay.
But I take them as my sisters, and no matter what happens, I live the way they see me. It is what makes them to feel guilty, because they thought that I will die. But by the grace of God, today I'm the chairman of our family. No matter what, I'll call them. They are my elder sisters. Others are in 50s. I'll call them and tell them this is what we want to do as a family. And that's how we are with them.
Okay. That is amazing. So thank you so much, Ken, for creating time for us and having this conversation with us. I know someone who have listened, have had their takeaway home. My takeaway home today would be forgiveness does not have to come with reconciliation.
Yeah.
And times, and life is a choice, because you made a choice, like, now, God, I've seen my mistakes, I've understood that this is not the life that I want to live, and I've made a choice from today that I, as Njeri, from today henceforth, this is how I live. This is not what I want to continue doing, and this is what I'll start doing. But there's something that has really caught my mind even as we wind up. When you talk about football and the people that were involved in the colleagues that were playing football with, you really mentioned that these are the same people that oriented you into crime. So is it a thing that is happening till now, and has that been looked into, or si tuko tu tunasema boys wangu ameenda kucheza and maybe he's transporting guns to where and drugs to where? Is that a thing?
It is a thing.
Are people paying?
Yeah, there are those people who are in prison right now. Promising footballers.
Yeah.
They are in prison right now. It is, the problem is that when we build a name, you have a lot of expectations from us. You see us as celebrities. Now, because we don't have that money, we'll have to do something
so that money can match the name.
The name.
Oh, wow.
Even now, there are those people. There is a goalkeeper, 3 months from now, he was killed. I don't want to mention the name, but he was killed just snatching a phone. Yeah, it is something. There are those in local leagues. There are people who are thugs. I know them. They are, even now we are speaking. There are those people, I'm speaking to them right now to help them transform.
There
are those people who just call me, Ken, how can I do about this? I normally talk to them. I normally tell them a lot. If it is just because we have that kind of confidentiality, there's a lot of people who are struggling outside there. Because, and there are times that I would help them to make a very, very bold decision. Because if it is football that may trigger you to go to the ways that I had gone, then there are times that you sacrifice these good things. Because me, I just call, if I could write a book, I would write a book, The Lost Dream, because I was a good goalkeeper.
Funny enough, I was, the way when you mentioned about the documentary, I was thinking in the same line. Because those are lost stars, which are there in the darkness, in the prisons. Those are people who are supposed to be graduated to the international leagues and what have you.
And also in the streets, you might find them drunk, sleeping in the streets.
It's just sad.
But now I've become an icon of hope to them, for those who know them, who know me. There are times I don't have anything to offer, but when they see me, I've been in the same platform with Arnold Origi. I've been in the same platform with Harry Gentle from Nigeria, Itubu Imbem, Bob Mugalia, McDonald Mariga. I've been in the same platform with them, but now I later even realized that discipline is the one that made them to be there. Because McDonald Mariga used to know this person is a thug, the other one is a thug. Why didn't he be a thug? He just humbled himself until God lifted him up.
Okay.
So those are the things that are there.
Okay. So Ken, for someone who might want to maybe look for you and maybe have a one-on-one conversation, maybe you can tell them where they can find you, maybe your socials or your number if you're comfortable.
Yeah, what I do, I normally say what I do so that when you call me, you
know the purpose.
The purpose.
Yes.
First, I do interventions, intervention with the drug addicts and the family. And also I do consultations of how somebody can be helped to be taken to rehabilitation. That's what I do. And I run the ministry that is in my heart for the street, rescue and one plate for an addict. And also I do therapy sessions for those people who are struggling with drug and substance abuse. Those are the things that I do.
Okay.
Mostly when it comes to sessions, or you feel like you've hit your rock bottom, that phone call, if you text me that phone call, you can call me anytime, even if it is 4 a.m, 6, anytime, because that is my purpose and I'm serving my purpose. So you can call me anytime. And also for the rescue of the people who are in the streets, of the one plate for an addict, I normally tell people, if you wish for us to come and do that plate for an addict in your home area. We can just come in your home. You can support us and we come in your home area. Even if it is in the villages, we come, we do that one setup and we talk with those people who are suffering with drugs and substances in your area. Normally we call it prevention and awareness.
Okay.
So those are the things that I do. Or you are a parent, you are afraid of your kid. Most of the people are afraid of their children. You can just call me. So that that is what basically what I do.
Okay.
And my numbers are 011 47 60 532 and my Airtel number is 0739 036 55. Kennedy Mushono Awero.
And your social media?
I'm in TikTok, Ken Chokosh. I'm in Facebook, Waweken Kennedy, and also in Instagram, Waweken Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and may God continue blessing you and giving you the grace to carry the burdens and open more doors for you, heal you completely, restore your stolen ears, restore everything that was stolen by the devil, because that is why he preserved you, Cindy.
Yeah.
And thank you for being a light in this society and continuing to do good even when you have a choice to do the wrong things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And before I forget, I'm 9 years now, 2 months, 1 week, clean, sober.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, now on to 20 years.
Yeah, thank
you. Thank you so much. And to you, our viewer, thank you so much for sticking with us up to this point of today's episode. As usual, remember that Ken's number will be on the pinned comment and also the link to his TikTok. So if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with him, you can contact him and reach out to him. Also, if you have watched up to this point and you haven't yet subscribed to this platform, kindly do so. Support us. It goes a long way to help us continue bringing you stories that you and I can relate to. Until next time, my name is Njeri Masi. Just keep it. Voices of Africa Network.